This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
This season marks a new beginning. Witness the raw power, iconic sound, and pure speed from the historic Lotus 79. Experience the competition and glory days of early 80s open-wheel action. Watch as drivers wrestle these ground effects cars into submission. Drivers will face off wheel to wheel. For some, it's a chance at redemption. For others, an opportunity to make a statement. All sharing the same goal, to be crowned champion. Who will be victorious tonight? The Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker starts now.
Ask a stranger what they think of when you say Sonoma, and you'll probably get wine, rolling hills, high-class lifestyle. In the racing world, however, Sonoma Raceway is the first thing that jumps to a driver's mind. This very technical road course can be a driver's best friend or their worst enemy. The elevation changes around every corner, requiring drivers to be on top of their game every single lap. Losing focus is certain doom, and only the finest can call themselves winners here. The Lionheart Retro Series pours its way into the Sonoma Raceway today for round 15 of the Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker. The DMLC Racing Channel Grand Prix of Sonoma is next, live on our flag-to-flag Global SimRacing Channel coverage on the iRacing Esports Network. Hello everyone, welcome to the show. I am your sommelier for this evening, Brian Yazek. Alongside me in the booth is Sean Ambrose. Amjad Yaman is calling the shots down in the production truck and smashing the grapes down there for the victor, so they get to look forward to that later on. And he's using cameras from Dougie Beard. This is the Sim Experience Countdown to Green. Now, Sean, if you haven't heard of Sim Experience, let me tell you this. The Sim Experience AccuForce Pro V2 is the premier professional racing simulation steering system. When combined with today's best racing simulators, the AccuForce Pro is as close as you can get to driving the real thing. The key to incredible realism is the groundbreaking direct drive motor system, providing a driving experience second only to the real thing. For more information on the entire Sim Experience ecosystem, including the SimVibe software, the 3DOF Stage Series Motion, and the new GS5 GeForce seat, visit simexperience.com. Now, Sean, welcome back to the show here for the Retro Series.
Good to be back.
I mean, tell me, Sonoma. I feel like Sonoma on the surface it's a solid fence, and you can't ride the fence. It's either you love this place or you hate this place. So tell me, A, how do you feel about it, and B, what kind of lends people to thinking that way?
See, now why you want to? I don't do negativity, man.
I know you don't do negative. Fine. Then what makes
I have
people
to say that I love this track. I love this track. Okay, it's a desert. Okay, it's a beautiful desert in the Sonoma Mountains. It's right in the middle of wine country. Actually, a really cool thing to do when you're here for the weekend is go on a wine tasting tour and then go to the track and watch some racing. But the track opened back in 1968. It's had a turbulent history. It's had a lot of different names: Sears Point, Infineon, It's now Sonoma Raceway, probably the way it should be and has been. It's been on the NASCAR schedule. It's been on the IndyCar schedule. iRacing's got 4 different configurations today. We're going to use this Cup configuration today. But Brian, it's 12 turns. It's 2.5 miles. People hate this course because, well, they can't drive it. They just don't want to practice it. Others love it because it's fast, it's wicked, it's got a lot of hard, twisty turns. But the best way to get an idea of what it's really like is to hop on board the GSRC Lotus 79 for a lap around Sonoma Raceway.
All right, we've got Juha Noralampi and the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Sonoma. Turn 1 is a flat-out blast uphill leading directly into 2. Hug the left side and try your best not to let the crest pull you away from the apex. Getting the power down here is going to be a real test of who's got the best feel for the throttle. You don't have much time before you hit the back and forth of turn 3. The car compresses, and then once again the rise will make the car light. Seeing drivers spin there probably won't be uncommon. Heavy braking into 4 means sometimes sneak attacks are possible, but I wouldn't bank on it. Keep your foot in it around the sweeper of 5 and then hold the car off to the right for the entry to the carousel. This difficult diving turn will require both patience and getting the power as early as possible to get the most out of it. That's because it dumps you onto the backstretch, which in this layout will fork off to the left. Tuck it right up to the wall, and then the braking for 7 is where you can expect to see most of the drivers attempt an overtake. The hard part is nailing the double apex line around the squared off hairpin. That leads us into the S's, and in the Lotus it's mostly flat out with a big lift going through 8. Expect this to be a single file section of track, and unless someone makes a huge error, passes are unlikely. What's incredible is coming through the fearsome turn 10, you're still not lifting. If drivers can withstand the dirty air, they'll be rewarded with a chance to pass into the hairpin of 11. But there's absolutely zero runoff with it being a simple tire wall around the outside. Missing your brake marker can spell disaster. Square off this last corner exit, straighten out the kinks on your run to the line, and you've now finished a lap around Sonoma.
Well, there you see just how to get around the Sonoma Raceway. And I know some of you out in the chat and out there watching the stream are probably thinking, well, wait, they said the Cup configuration. Well, technically, we're still right. Originally, this was the long configuration using, instead of going all the way up to those kind of double right-handers that you always saw on NASCAR going to, they would use the configuration that you would see the IndyCars go to. That was technically the long one. Well, earlier this year, when NASCAR went back to using the carousel, that middle section with that long sweeping left-hander out to the drag strip, well, now iRacing updated it, and now this is the Cup configuration. So, just to clarify that for some of the viewers at home and some of the chatters in the chat. So, with that being said, let's clarify some points situations that we've got going on. And if you've been a fan of the series and paid any attention, this should not be any surprise to you. Ryan Otis with a very commanding lead, 166 markers over David Clymer. Paul Jenkins there in third with the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow fourth. Chris Lanini with a very sneaky, very silent 5th place in the overall standings. Travis Yeager-Liner 6th. Dean Mardi Gras Mall there in 7th with race sponsor Mark Cohn there in 8th. And you can kind of see the other half there. You've got Dalton, Ducana, Corns, Baldwin, Paulson, Sage Karam, who kind of he's here tonight. He's been a little bit off and on throughout as different racing events have taken him away from there, and with Block and Holmes rounding out the back half there. So obviously when we have the drivers make up teams. So let's cover the team standings. And again, if you've been paying attention at all this season, Raven Motorsports Black with the combination of Otis, Paulson, and Wardlow, I mean, I think we could probably almost say that they've clinched the team championship by now. We have only a handful of races left this year, so they're in a pretty good spot. Firefly Racing there second, Raven Motorsports silver, NLR Sim Racing there back and forth, and rounding out that top 5 in the team standings, a name that is also very, very known to any of the GSRC viewers out there riding Shotgun Motorsports. Sean, tell us about the rookie battle.
Yeah, let's look at that rookie battle real quick. David Clymer there sits atop, but boy, he is not far. We've got Jenkins sitting there right behind him, only 19 points back here, Brian. What a great battle they've got coming down to the wire here. Mardi Gras Mall. back there in third. Maybe a little far out to catch Jenkins, a climber. But what he's really got to worry about is Mark Cohn, very, very hot rookie. And Dalton sitting there tied with him. Fourth and fifth being occupied by those two. Finney and Dacona back there, not far behind them either in sixth. Corns in seventh, Baldwin eighth, and you look back a little bit deeper into that rookie, into those rookie standings, and honestly, it's pretty tight throughout the standings. You've got to go all the way down to the end there, where you say maybe a little bit of separation. But again, first through 16th, the first, that's a lot of rookies, and two, it's a very, very competitive rookie crop, Brian.
It is. I mean, this is talent from all walks of iRacing. And kind of everywhere all over the globe, even as we've had some drivers filter in. So the rookie battle it's been very interesting to watch as the season progresses. Going to be very interesting to see just kind of see how this evolves and how this rolls on to next year. So looking on the cars taking some qualifying times there, you see the points leader Ryan Otis on your screen, going through the uphill leading up to the carousel. I mean, Sean, I feel like every single corner around this place is an elevation change.
Yeah, and well, there's a lot of, and with that elevation change, is going to be guys missing entry, missing exit, getting in too hot, maybe braking too early, getting off course, and that's where the trouble really lies here, is off course, because there's really not a whole lot to slow you down. It's into the dirt, off into a barrier. Some of them are close, some of them are a little bit further off track, but especially when you get down into the hairpins, there's really nowhere to hide. Those barriers come up very, very quickly. You've got to watch those tire barriers to the inside as we watch Otis get that hairpin worked out very clean on his way to the start-finish line, and this will not be his best. Well, no, that was his best lap there. So that gets Otis still in P2 here in qualifying. But again, it's like I said, that the sand around this track provides a bit of a problem, as getting off the track can never be good. Getting back onto it can be less than easy. And with traffic all around you, this could be trouble tonight for these drivers.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, and you saw it, one of the spots there, out there on as we were watching Otis go through there, that hairpin, the turn 12 hairpin. I mean, races have been won and lost there. I mean, because you carry so much speed coming off of 11, and even through those little S's. I mean, you kind of build speed up to that corner, and then you've got to woe the thing down. I mean, down to 30, 40 miles an hour. Yeah. Maintain it, not hit the tires, not have to get run over from behind. This is a great camera right here as we're looking on board with Ryan Corns. You're going to see, you build that momentum, here you go swinging through 11, and then you got to woe this thing down, and you're going to hear it on the broadcast. You're going to hear the simple, soothing sounds there. A little wider through there, but the premise still remains. You can see how easy that can be just to really mess that corner up. It will sneak up and get you. Another one also with a hairpin. That's also, or not the hairpin, the carousel. That's a pretty popular corner around here because it's an important corner. You build up the steam up that corner, and then you come around it, and you kind of got to get a good enough run, and it basically a hole shot, if you will. And I use that term explicitly for the reason that that's the old drag strip back there.
Exactly. Yep.
So you really got to build up the steam and get it down there, and then you get to the end of that straightaway, and it's a double right. So here we go on board right now with Corns again. We're going through the carousel, swinging it out there, out down that drag strip. You're grabbing fourth gear, maybe up to fifth, or maybe winding out in fourth, depending on. I haven't driven the setup, so I don't know exactly. Woo! See, there you go. That double right. You got to woe it down, and this thing gets real unhappy.
My favorite part of the track right here, Brian. I love getting down through these S's right here, man. It's so cool.
Getting it right is such a great feeling.
It is, and it's a thing of beauty, really, when you can really just knock it out and set record times through there. And then it really gets tough here.
Yep, as we were talking about, leading up to that hairpin, that very tight right-hander.
Didn't we see James Carolla take out the field down there in that?
I remember a race.
Maybe once, possibly. Maybe IndyCar race. I don't know. I was just saying. Who knows?
Who knows? There was a newcomer. That's the word I was trying to use. Chris Reagan. We saw him on screen very briefly, but speaking of very briefly, this qualifying session has just kind of steamed on by. So, with the qualifying session over, let's go over the grid. We got time here because I believe they have to do a full pace lap. If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Pace Car. Yes, they do. On pole tonight, Sage Karam with Ryan Otis to the outside there of the first row. Alex Saunders in third with George Sandman in fourth with Aaron Morgan in fifth. Chris Reagan, I just mentioned him there in the sixth spot. Candyman Dustin Wardlow seventh. Mark Cohn, the Watchman and the race sponsor, in the eighth spot. David Clymer in ninth, and Lionel Little Train Callisto rounding out your top 10.
All right, let's go to row 6. That's going to be JP Windshuttle next to Dean Mardi Gras Mall. They're in 12th and number 31. Row 7 going to be Chad Dalton and Finney Ducana. We'll start 14th tonight. Row 8 going to be Travis Jaegerliner and Ryan Korn starting 16th and number 28. Lotus 79. Row 9 going to be Mike Belair starting 17th tonight, and James Paulson 18th. Row 10 going to be Paul Jenkins and old timer, we'll call him a graybeard maybe even, Chris Lanini starting 20th tonight.
I was talking to Chris before this one, and he wasn't too super excited about coming here. Richie Hearn in the 21st spot. He's worried about some internet issues, so he's just going to try and finish all the laps. Frank Beeser there, 22nd. Adam Young rounding out the field. Shotgun on the field, which is funny because he drives for Riding Shotgun Motorsports, so it kind of works out perfectly for him. 23 Lotus 79 machines out there. And if you are new to the Lionheart Retro Series, let's talk about how this series goes about here with our series details.
Yes, sir. Season 3, of course, round 15 to 18. What does that mean, folks? Well, it means the season's almost over, so you better stay tuned in. 2 drops are in play. This is the Lotus 79, the beautiful Lotus 79 championship winning car. It's a fixed setup, but it's been fixed by the league. They set the setup and they give it to the drivers and everybody agrees on it. This is the thing everybody needs to pay attention to, Brian. You see that cash and prizes. And prizes totaling $7,610. $7,610. That's a lot of Skrilla, baby.
Yeah, and those series details brought to you by Minus 273. Minus 273 is the premier name in karting gloves. They're industry-leading gloves, super lightweight, durable, made of breathable poly spandex. Whether you're a kart racer or a sim racer, Minus 273 gives you the control to reach victory lane. For more information on Minus 273's full line of gloves and apparel, visit www.minus273.biz. And don't forget, we have a promo code LHRS. That gets you not 23%, not 24%, but a whopping 25% off of that store. Just clicking around that website, real easy to spend some money there. We're going to have some onboard cameras here for you tonight in the Napa Valley region, and here we are on board with Mark Cohn. He calls this the Pink Panther Special Paint Scheme. Really excited about that. The DMLC Racing Channel on board, looking over the driver's helmet. And then from there, we're going to go to Ryan Otis in the Clipping That Apex camera, looking out over the right rear tire, one of my favorite camera angles of all time. And then from that, we're going to go back to James Paulson with the Viva Motorsport onboard camera. There, Viva! You see James right there. Viva! Could be fun. Fields working their way through the left-right combinations. I don't have a name for it, but we're going to call it that right now. Sean, I hope you're strapping in, buddy.
I'm strapped. I'm ready. Well,
ready to go.
I'm ready to go. Yes.
All right. Field working their way through the aforementioned turn 11 with that wall waiting for them if they make a mistake, trying to get that line sorted out there. There you see, newcomer there. Pace car is off field, is going to be in the control of Sage Karam, working their way through turn 12, the hairpin. And they get around the corner. It's not going to be long here before they are going to be on that gas pedal, getting it going, bringing them down. Green flag is out. We are underway at Sonoma. Sage Karam getting a big jump away from Ryan Otis, George Sandman, and Alex Saunders working their way in. Saunders getting a good run up to the back wing of Otis, and Saunders kind of misses the corner back there. Here comes Sandman making a run. He's going to have the third spot going into the uphills section.
Brian already going line astern throughout the field. Everybody playing it pretty careful here. Mardi Gras Mole taking a look to the inside, trying to pick up a couple Mardi Gras around in the dirt.
Oh, no.
Coming down the hill. We'll get back to it. Everybody's safe so far.
Yeah, now Mardi Gras, at least if he didn't do any damage to the under part of that car, you should be all right. Just get a little dust on the tires and get going down the road and shake it off.
He clattered it pretty hard over the curbs, and they may have some damage under there. He's back there battling with Richie Hearn right now, trying to get around him.
This is one of the greatest camera angles, too, as you can watch the field slope through there. Ooh, their car.
Oh boy. It was Belair off the
Belair.
track. Probably get back to that.
Do a replay
All right,
of
here we go.
that. Mike Belair, the first one to meet the tire barrier. He just coming up through here. Car gets
It happened right in front of Richie, too. It happened right in front of Richie Hearn. In fact, I think Richie might have made contact with him.
Here's Richie just trying to ride.
Yeah. Here's from on board Mardi Gras here.
Oh, this is the first
This
incident.
is his incident, right? Exactly.
This is a very hard corner to get. It seems pretty easy, but then you step on it.
Yeah,
and
I think he might have gotten a little too
You
much.
get a little bit of help. Yeah.
A little bit of the curve from the inside. I think he got a little bit too high up on it and brought the rear end around. But he did survive it. But I just wonder if he's got some under tray damage because of that.
Well, time will tell as the race unfolds. 50 laps on tap tonight. We're already on lap 2. From what we could gather from the whispers behind the garage, or behind the haulers, 20 laps to 22 laps is about the extent of the field window. So we're probably looking at a solid 2 stops.
That's kind of what they were talking about at the water cooler there.
No, somewhat. I mean, there are a couple drivers throughout the field that they can make good fuel mileage. I don't know if you're going to make up that much, but stranger things have happened. Good battle, though, shaping up. Bunch of cars lined to stern here. It kind of all capped off with the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow.
Yeah, it's a battle for P7, really draped behind him. About 6 cars in this battle. They get really close, so run it up there. David Clymer almost gets into the back of the Candyman.
Goodness gracious. Dustin's trying to just get away. Mark Cohn's got a little bit of a gap ahead of that, working their way through turn 3 this time. And that's just, Dustin didn't get a good entry through that one. That's just going to back him right up to Clymer. Now, see, through here, you're really trying to just set the move up. You're not going to make a move into the carousel. What you're going to try and do here is kind of ride in the wake and see if you can pull a draft down that straight, which doesn't look like he's going to be close enough to make a move. Even the most daring drivers, I don't think, is going to send it from that far back on lap 3. But hey, we have seen stranger things here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Out front, all is well. All is quiet for Sage. He's motoring away. He's got himself just over, or just around a 2-second gap over Ryan Otis. A little bit of oversteer there. Or understeer coming out of the corner. The rear end dancing around on that one. Let's go back. Where are we looking here? Travis Jaegerliner and Chad Dalton. It's a battle for 13th, working its way up turn 1.
I've been watching it. Here comes Jaegerliner with a move into the hairpin. Oh boy, side by side coming off exit here. Dalton loses the car just a little bit under him, but he gets back to the power. Did he clip the wall coming off there? It looked like he might have with the left front. Dalton holds off Jaegerliner going up the hill here. Watch out, here comes Paulson.
We go on board with Paulson, that Viva Motorsports camera, working their way through the carousel. A good look, just seeing how the driver's working through that. Again, the steering inputs, everything you need, trying to run off that corner.
Nice segue.
I try sometimes.
a little deeper in the field. I think Jenkins and Mardi Gras Mall is going to be a battle here in a moment. Dean had that problem right off the start. He's gathered things back up.
Yeah,
On
Dean
screen,
Mardi
there it
Gras.
is, yeah.
Yeah, he's working his way up there, working that sweeping turn 11. Very fast corner. Really easy to overdrive, and see Richie Hearn kicking up some dirt back there from that camera angle, and you can just see it. Real easy to overturn that, or get that corner all messed up.
And I was right earlier. Richie did unfortunately pick up some damage. The left front wing is definitely bent on Richie's car.
Oh,
we got a
spin
car
at
in
the
the
top of the
track.
hill.
JP Winchittle.
It's Winchittle. He's holding it together, getting back out of the way. What happened there? Look at the replay. I'm guessing. He probably had a little too overzealous trying to get through that corner. Yeah, all by himself. Real easy to do because it's an uphill to the right. Real easy. Goodness, look at the heads-up driving. Nobody hit him as he's just sitting there.
Amazing. And that was all as we were talking about Richie there coming through, and that broke loose. And Richie has picked up 8 spots, but again, I'm worried about that left front wing on the car.
Time will tell if he can be able to work with that.
Well,
this is a good little battle here between Paulson, Maul, and look at Ladini sneaking back up into there.
Yeah, and I think right now it's driver skill that's outperforming the car. To be honest with you, Richie.
Yeah, he's carrying that machine.
Yeah, definitely.
Just a little bit. Multicolored machine there, Mardi Gras. It's how we got the nickname Mardi Gras. Got a good run there in that hairpin, bringing himself right back up to Paulson. I feel like the exit, Maul probably gets out of the corner a little bit better than Paulson, but I think Paulson gets into the corners a little bit better than Maul. So it kind of balances out over the course of a run, or over the course of a lap, really. And that's where you kind of see this gap. It's kind of like an accordion. It'll expand, come back, and then kind of back and forth, back and forth. I think, Mama's got a squeeze box, and that's what's holding that all together there.
It's a great Who reference. Really like that, Brian. They're on tour,
Oh, really?
Yes, they are. The Who is very much on tour.
Every time I think about looking away, Mardi Gras is making that battle real interesting.
He is.
He's getting the great launch on exit, but then it's like he's sacrificing too much on entry. Here's go to the double rights, working their way down the back. I'm not even call it the backstretch. The S's here.
So up to P3, Brian. The Sandman. Saunders looked to have pace there for a moment, but then they just came across the start-finish line, and that time Sandman picked it back up again. It was just about 0.2 quicker. But here comes Saunders again down the hill.
Saunders is known for his road racing ability in the Retro Series. Doesn't quite have that same dominance on the oval side of things, but he's getting better at it. He'd tell you that himself. I'm not trying to be mean. He'd tell you himself. Tell him that on his own. Dean Ball on pit road, too, strangely enough.
Yeah.
Quick stop for fuel?
Might have been repair, man. I don't think the under tray of that car appreciated what he had picked up there on the opening lap. In fact, the left front wing still looks like it's a bit off on the car, so maybe
just a hair.
Get a repair.
Go back up to the battle for the 7th spot. Mark Cohn has it. Candyman Dustin Wardlow sneaking in there, taking out a Cone while he's at it too. See this beautiful helicopter angle, looking out the back here of the Pink Panther Special, Mark likes to call that machine. Obviously, with the league in the month of October. I don't remember how it started, but a number of years ago, everybody, with October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and a number of league drivers just painted their cars pink, or painted the rims pink, or did pink numbers. And then I think because I joined a couple of years ago, and it was still really a handful of guys at that point. And now we were joking on the team chat last night that I didn't know which pink car to be mad at because there were so many pink cars running around on the track.
I spray painted my Camry pink, so. Oh, we're gonna watch this replay here on Winchell. Yeah.
What happened is the night just continued to unfold, I think, unfortunately for Winchell. Let's take a look here. Oh! Go on board here.
Something happened. I wonder if is that possible hardware failure there?
I mean, that you usually don't go straight off there on purpose, but let's go on board here.
Something looked awfully odd about that. Was
or
it
it
racing
could have
with anybody?
No, I mean, or he could have just you spun out, probably had another off somewhere, and then maybe that was just kind of the final straw, and he decided to act as take the wall out with him. Oh, yeah, that's
something strange going on there.
Yeah, because then the wheels locked hard right too. So, Paul Jenkins on pit road.
I don't think that's a scheduled stop.
I don't think so either.
A little bit of damage on the front end of his car also.
Folks, you're not missing anything out front. Just telling you right now, Sage Karam, big advantage over Ryan Otis. But we have seen over the course of the season, Otis tended to bring it back over the course of the run. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that driver of the 95. Seems like that battle between Sandman and Saunders has kind of fizzled out as well. Winchell out of the car.
Now, all good for Lotus. He's got a commanding lead in this championship. And has been awfully consistent all season. He certainly doesn't have to win this race to win the championship. But sure, it would be nice to add another win to the season, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You know, if you're at a spot where you're having the season that Otis has had, you know, hey, pad a couple points while you're at it, pad some stats. It's never a bad thing, especially being associated with winning. I mean, you can't ever go wrong with that.
Well, he's been rock solid on road courses this season, and I don't expect anything to be much different tonight for Ryan. Sanders here still trying to hold off Sandman, doing a good job of it, Brian.
He absolutely is. I mean, Saunders has the wherewithal to know where to put the car and get himself in the spots that he needs to be. And I mean, Sandman is very, very skilled on the road, you know, in his own regards. Coming to us from a series, I thought there was a couple series that he appeared on the Global SimRacing Channel there, so that were all road based.
Yeah.
So he's no slouch on these left and the right turns.
No, and of course won the race at Road America. So Saunders always fast on the road courses. Karam, of course, almost took that victory at Road America, except for a little last lap trouble there.
There's some fisticuffs that almost would have happened.
Yeah, fuel became a bit of a factor, but I don't think it's going to be trouble tonight. There we go. Is that David Clymer coming in there for Sim Pit?
Yeah, David Clymer on pit road.
The Sim Pit.
The Sim Pit.
Like the Ohio State, the Sim Pit. Oh, you don't like that.
Silliest. I mean, you know, they tried to trademark the word "the." Richie Hearn, as we're arguing about that, Richie Hearn makes a great move down the front stretch to get around Dalton.
Richie picking him up and knocking him down, man. That's 10 spots now.
That's
11 laps, 10 spots.
Yeah, he's cracking into the top 11 there. And he's got the pace. It wouldn't surprise me if he can get up there and maybe give Ducana just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit of trouble up there.
Richie, a little worried about his connection, decided to start at the back of the pack, not mess with qualifying. And we should take the camera off him anytime soon now. So. I tell you what, we go back to Wardlow and Mark Cohn, though. Dustin got his teeth in the bit right now.
Yeah, this is pretty much the best battle on track. with Mark Cohn trying to hang on. I mean, and especially with the Candyman. You know Dustin Wardlow's back there. You know he's going to take care. He's not going to do anything stupid. But you know he's not going to go away. So you really try and manage the race as it goes on. But, you know, Mark Cohn doing right now a good job of holding Wardlow back. But Wardlow's he's not running away. He's just keeping him close enough. And maybe, you know, you try to put a little bit of pressure on the driver and maybe looks up right before braking zone and has a mistake, you know, sends him off into the grass. And hey, that's an easy spot to pick up. It's always best when they're off in the grass. Just up in front of that, Chris Reagan in the 5th spot. Newer name to the Retro Series.
Boy, yeah, new to me, for sure.
Put it on there. It's a solid 5th place effort here in that Lotus 79 machine. I want to say it's not his debut race. He was on a couple weeks ago.
Okay, I
think it was at an oval. Yeah, I think it was a couple weeks ago, and now he's kind of back for this one. Sage Karam going purple on track that last lap at 1:20.39, fastest lap of the race. Sage Karam, free and easy down the road he goes. He's absolutely stomping the grapes out here in Wine Valley, or Napa Valley, home of all sorts of good wines and fun things of that variety.
He's doing it on a hot track too. It's up to 115 degrees. Now it's partly cloudy, only about 80 degrees outside, but the track temperature continues to rise here throughout the race. But as Sage's tank gets a little bit lighter, that car has obviously gotten a bit faster. Otis not that far off pace though, man. All he needs is one little slip up from Sage Karam there, and Otis will be hot on his heels once again.
Absolutely, and you saw the little track guide there, 115 on the track temp, making these things slide all sorts of around on the speedway here today. Now, and you talk about, you know, as the fuel burns off in these cars, these cars love it without the fuel in it.
Yeah,
it's kind of the most backwards car I've ever driven because you don't have to change the tire, and you know, it's just the way that it gets so light and so grippy, but that comes with such a fine edge because we've seen on the ovals where these cars are driving around with low fuel and they'll just snap around. So there's kind of a really good side and a really ugly side to the good side. Getting a report too from JP Winchettle. No hardware failure, just lost focus and hit the wall.
Oh, no. That's a shame.
That is a shame. He was looking solid in that machine tonight. Can't wait to read what his Facebook post for the race is tonight. Usually he's pretty creative there. Let's go up to Frank
Beezer with a little bit of trouble. Yeah. A climber just got by him.
Oh, wow. And Lanini gets around, and then he goes to stomp the power down, and
oh yeah,
those are the spins that infuriate you as a driver.
Because crack the egg.
Yeah, those are the spins that make you angry because it doesn't fully spin around. It just does that loose, or that lazy half slide. You just can't ever get it to rotate around that you need to get.
Do you know that egg theory, Brian?
Egg theory. You drive like there's an egg pedal or egg under the gas pedal. Yeah,
right. Exactly.
That's how I taught my wife how to throttle manage when she was learning how to drive.
Okay. All right.
So pretend there's an egg under the throttle. She goes, why in the hell
stuff.
would you say that? It's a racing term. Just run with it. Otis, he's responding back there with a fast lap.
Maybe he's just now getting into his rhythm. 15 laps. Now he's into his rhythm.
I've said, you know,
it all changes now.
Later in these runs, it seems like Otis tends to pick up the pace just a little bit, and we aren't that far away from fuel strategy as well coming to play. We're at lap 15. They told us they can go between 20 and 22, and I'll tell you what, this is a place I do not want to run out of fuel at. We generally don't, you don't want to run out of fuel at a road course, period. But here, you're not making it back around. In Road America, you're not making it back around. I think if you run out of fuel, depending on where, if you're going up a hill or down a hill, the odds are not in your favor to bring it back around here. But working through the carousel there, Chad Dalton on screen. A little bit of front wing damage as well on that machine. Look at that, the right side of the wing is it looks like it's sheared off. It got in a fight with a badger.
Yeah, there is something strange going on there with that. It literally did shear off the end of the wing. It's gone.
It must have hit something. Hit a curb, hit somebody, hit a badger.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe hit a wine bottle on the track.
Boy, we've seen a few of those today.
Oh, just a few. Just a few. Legendary here at in this valley. You know, when the series comes here, the NASCAR Premier Cup Series, the winner, the trophy is a big bottle of wine. Which when Clint Boyer won that a couple years ago, boy, I couldn't imagine that post-race party.
Is that what they're called now? By the way, the NASCAR Premier?
No, it's the
Cup
Monster
Series?
Energy Cup Series, and I'm ahead of myself because next year they're not having a company sponsor. They're doing like a Formula One thing where they're having like it. You know, it's not like the Geico Formula One series. There's the Formula One, and then they've got like a heavy advertisings for certain brands.
Okay,
those are their premier brands.
Guess I need to watch me some more NASCAR. I didn't know that.
Well, they're heading that way for next season, so
all right,
it'll be the Premier Series, potentially not Cup. I don't know what they're going to do on that one, but it'll be the Premier Series, and then certain spots will be sponsored by certain companies. So when they have their big West Coast swing at the beginning of the year, that could be sponsored by Coca-Cola, and when they come down south, yeah. You
know what sounds really good?
What's that?
Winston Cup. I have an idea. We call it Winston Cup. It's just a thought. I don't know.
I mean,
that was
that pesky thing called the government and cigarette advertising.
Yeah,
that's all frowned upon.
That's
For God's sakes, Michigan banned flavored
hang on.
vape pens.
Ryan Otis having trouble getting past traffic there. Oh, geez.
That was a moment.
Had a little bit getting by our buddy Adam Young there, riding Shotgun Motorsport.
Adam was about to make the highlights for not the good reasons. I felt.
Not the top 10, right? Yeah. And Adam's struggling with it right now, getting out of everybody's way.
Yeah, he's just gonna try and find a spot to go away and just get out of the way as fast as he can. Lap time wise, that stalled out that momentum pretty good. Slowest lap I've seen Otis tick for the last couple.
Yeah, it's now put him about 5.5 seconds back. Something's happened to Travis Jagerliner here.
He's still rolling around on track.
Paulson just got by him. I'm trying to go back and see what happened. I think he made a mistake.
Yeah. Going into the carousel, the car just...
I wonder if maybe a little bit further back, maybe he cut the corner and had to slow down there. He just slowed down, pulled over is what we saw there on that part of the replay.
Yeah. I didn't see anything else, but...
That's odd.
We'll run with that.
Yeah, it's, right now, the only close battle, if you want to call it that, is really Sandman and Saunders. I guess you could throw Ryan Otis into that mix because they're all only separated by about 2 seconds from each other.
Yeah, you got Otis leading the charge. Sandman locking up the brakes there through the hairpin down the front stretch, which is really kind of an oxymoron term because you're really going straight for that little small section by the flag stand. Going on board here with the purple machine there of Saunders. That turn, that second turn, that uphill right-hander, that is a beast of a corner, Sean.
Yeah, it is. I rarely get it absolutely right, Brian.
I find the grass or the dirt on the other side of that corner more often than not. Really.
What grass?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because in the winter season, this track, when the grass actually grows in, is beautiful.
Yes.
Like if you ever look it up, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look up, a Sonoma Raceway winter season or whatever, some choice of those phrases into the Google image search. And the track it looks gorgeous, but all this dirt grows in because it's the winter season, and I'm using air quotations for that in California, and all that brown that you see on track, it's green. It makes you wish that they could come here all year round that way, or maybe put AstroTurf down, something.
So Clymer and Lanini had a moment down in the hairpin just a moment ago. It gets Clymer by, but Lanini got in way too hot, almost hit the wall. Here we go. I think we did get a replay of it.
Yeah, that was. I just went back and found it myself. It was a very interesting approach.
Here we go. And Lanini's just going to miss this altogether, Brian.
Just a bit outside.
A little pressure, maybe?
Looked it. Well, that's what I was talking about earlier with Wardlow and Corn. You just kind of look up at maybe the wrong moment, and it takes your eyes off of the braking zone or your marker. You miss that.
Might have got spooked there for sure.
Very easy. I mean, you try to look up in the mirror and see what's going on, and next thing you know, you're about firewall deep into the tire barrier. Good battle, though, shaping up here around the 12th spot, too. Chad Dalton, James Paulson working their way here through turns 3, 2, 3, 3A, 3B. It's kind of an odd layout there, but that sharp right-hander, don't get too wide there. You put a tire off there, you're more than likely going to find the dirt on the infield there. Tell you what, Paulson is on. He's chewing at the bit here, working their way through the carousel this time, down this little back stretch. And it's even, I was going to say, even more impressive with Dalton with that wing damage.
Yeah, he's really done well to not let it affect him. I mean, honestly, he may not even be aware that he's got wing damage unless he's got somebody spotting for him or already put that in his head. He may not even know. The car may not even feel off to him.
I mean, in true, old racing style, he needs someone to stand out there with a pit bull.
Right.
Chalk on the board and just lean out over the wall.
Right wing gone.
He's taking a little bit of a defensive line. And so I'm thinking that Dalton there was starting to feel the pressure just a little bit. He took a little bit more of a defensive line, which is more of a shallow entry into the corner to try to block someone from making a dive bomb run on you. But Paulson is keeping up with him through the uphills, though. Anyway, you see this whole uphill, this is what we're talking about. Every corner is an elevation change. You go uphill, downhill, then you're going around this right, which falls down to a downhill, and then you come back up the hill, coming through here to set up the carousel. Uphill to the right here, and then it's a sweeping? One of those words works. This left-hander there that sets you back out to the drag strip, and you're driving uphill towards the double rights. Yeah, man, if you get heights bother you, kind of moving around, this track isn't for you.
Hard to lead this battle. I mean, again, it's you keep wondering if Chad is gonna break here, if he's gonna falter, and it's just not showing any give up at all.
No, we're looking
really
at
solid racing.
The Sandman off and on pit road, so that sets that out there. About 22 laps on fuel is what they covered with the pace lap. Aaron Morgan also on pit road. So he's getting that machine topped off. You saw Sandman there leading in the HPP special.
That's Dalton and Paulson going by.
It could be kind of interesting to see how as that battle might progress.
Yeah, well, I mean, Morgan comes out of the pits. He comes out right in front of Jägerliner, who's actually part of this battle that we're watching. So Morgan a bit of a fly in the ointment, but Ryan Otis has come into the pits.
Ryan Otis on pit road as well. Sage Karam staying out. Alexander staying out. Now that's 23 laps. So this is how I know. Those guys behind the haulers, I paid them $10 for that information. Worst $10 I've ever spent. Here they are. They're stretching out that limit. So I mean, maybe if you get out here, you could make a little bit of fuel, but I don't think you can make up enough to make it to halfway.
Drivers behind Otis, Reagan, Mark Cohn, the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow is in. Otis is down and away already, climbing up the hill. He's going to have Lionel Kalisto, the little train, who has not taken a stop yet, right there at his back door.
And this time by Richie Hurd, Chad Dalton, Mark Cohn, Dustin Wardlow, all of them peeling off for 9.5 imperial gallons worth of fuel, which is what the fuel limit is set to in these machines. Let's see if Sage, and he's well off into the racing line, going to work his way around one of the more unique pit road entries here on the service, bringing that number 3 machine down.
Almost reminds me of Spa a little bit, to be honest.
A little bit, yeah. Kind of outside the track, you kind of feel like, yeah. I was watching some old Formula One in review videos on YouTube, and I missed the old final sector of Spa. I don't like that. Like we've all ever known the chicane. Oh no, James Paulson off of pit road, fresh off of pit road, has a moment on the top of turn 2. Doesn't hit anything,
boy.
but whoo.
Here comes Saunders. He's coming out. So he manages to jump Sandman and Otis with a much shorter pit stop by a couple of seconds.
Well, that and putting in probably a yeoman's effort on the track as well. I mean, he probably got on pit road real good, got off pit road real good. There's a couple different ways to make up a time through there, and I think Saunders nailed every single one of them.
So for the first time in a while, Otis finds himself out of second place, not chasing Sage Karam anymore, but chasing Alex Saunders now. Who we warned Saunders is hot right now, man, and this could be his night still yet.
Could very well be.
All right, here we go on this replay here. We'll take a look at the...
You'll see what I was talking about. I just happened to be watching Paulson as he left pit road, and Paulson also back on pit road as well. You'll see it here. Kind of this uphill right-hander.
Dirt.
And then a whoop, and a whoop-de-doodle, and then up that way. Go back live. You see Paulson sitting in pit road, maybe getting had some front end damage, or it could have been an unsafe pit out. Yeah, 15 seconds. That'd be about right.
Yep.
If you are new, you see there's a couple different sets of cones that you have to kind of follow. Those blue cones are the important ones. Don't merge before those. The game doesn't like it. It will get you.
Whoa, easy. The sim doesn't.
The sim doesn't.
Climber Wardlow across the front straight up the hill. We got a great battle here for 8th as Climber just gets by Wardlow. Did it down the front straight just before they made the left-hand turn up the hill.
Power move from David Climber, especially getting around Candyman. He's pretty decent back. Did Dustin? Oh wow, maybe did Dustin just let him go?
I guess. I mean, but coming out of the pits there, Climber takes it away.
Power move, and he's continuing to motor away. I mean, Dustin, we saw him basically on the rear wing of Mark Cohn that whole first part of the stint.
Climber's definitely off on strategy because remember now, he came in a long time ago. So he's on a totally different strategy than Wardlow. And maybe Wardlow knew that and just let him go because of that reason. Decided not to fight him.
Yeah, I mean, Climber is 15 laps on the on his pit cycle here. I think Climber could have gone for the approach of, if I have to make 2 stops, I want to make them as short as possible. So instead of running the fuel tank all the way empty and then refilling it and then get towards the end and doing the same dance again, he took his short stop at the beginning, run it beyond halfway, get it to the window, and then take just enough fuel to get to the end. Fun little play there from that. Battle
think-
for P2 starting
yeah.
to shape up. Otis is tracking down Saunders.
Starting to. Yeah, it took a couple laps to kind of get things back under him there after the pit stop, but it does look like he's starting to reel him in here just a little bit, Brian.
Little bit by little bit. That is how any progress is made in the history of ever. And in this case, around the Sonoma Raceway, it's just how you've got to make up those gaps. A lot faster. Fastest on track last time for Otis. That last lap. The lap before, that exact last lap, Saunders evened him out 64 to a 67.
It's amazing. We're halfway into this race and we're still talking about margins literally that are thousandths, three 1,000ths of a second apart.
Absolutely. It's the type of action that you get here in the Lionheart Retro Series, presented by Butt Kickers. We're on board Ryan Otis with that clip in that apex cam. Looking over the left shoulder. I love this camera angle too, because you're looking over the left shoulder and you kind of see how the magic happens. You can watch the input from the wheel. You can kind of get a sense of how Otis is driving this place. Just right on board. Just listen to the sounds of the machine. Yeah. It's a beautiful engine to hear that thing wind up and get screaming. You know, and the things we race these things on ovals, and that whine gets a little annoying over the course of a long night. You're in an oval and you're wide open. That one you got to turn the volume down just a hair. When you hear it work through the power band, that's always an exciting sound. Looking for a battle, Dean Mardi Gras Mall. He's caught up to the rear wing of Richie Hearn.
Yeah, they actually just got around Adam Young. Poor Adam was right in the middle of it again, coming down off the carousel, and Adam was just like right there.
He's just trying to make laps.
Yeah, I know. He probably feels horrible, but yeah, Richie's still just wheeling this thing.
With the strength of 1,000 oxen, Richie Hearn wheeling that number 70 machine around this Sonoma Raceway. He was on board here from Mardi Gras.
Listen, Richie is hot right now in the racing world, okay? He's coming off a victory last weekend at his local dirt track. Richie's got himself a little dirt car. He's got a couple wins this season. And he's back with a vengeance, man. If we could ever get his internet thing straightened out, he's going to compete for championships. And folks, if you're here for the first time, you don't know who Richie Hearn is. This former IndyCar driver. This guy was in the big show. As a rookie, finished third on the podium at the Indy 500. So the dude is a serious racer, and on the real life side, is it just out having fun? But he's kicking butt and taking names and talking about making minor improvements to the car. And it's like, I thought we were doing this for fun. You can tell every time you talk to him, he's still got that fight in him, man. That driver's instinct, it never goes away.
No. I mean, you see guys that are racing into their 70s, that kind of do that. They have that fire and that drive and that passion.
Richie's not that old.
No, but just to echo your point, he's not old or washed up, but that instinct never goes away. I mean, it's a racer mindset.
Yeah, my dad's talking about getting in a car next year. And anyway, yeah, talk about people that are in their 70s. So he's not listening. It's okay.
I don't know. Fathers never do sometimes. There we go. On screen here.
On the DMLC Racing Channel, onboard camera looking back on Mark Cohn's machine there, the Pink Panther. Clymer, been there with him for a while. But again, remember, Clymer on a different pit strategy. In fact, he's coming up against his window here pretty soon.
He is. I mean, he's probably, if we go off what the leader's pace was, that was 23 laps. He's on lap 19. With Maul, the other one kind of on that alternative strategy.
Right. But with everybody else still needing to make one stop, I mean, him being included, there goes Clymer now. Climber can make it to my calculations can definitely make it to the end on fuel here with this stop.
He can. Absolutely, he can make it. That's because you have to make 2 stops, and it's just a matter of what time do you make those stops. And Climber Mall chose to make their short stop early, fill the thing up, drive it to the end, and let the rough side drag. It seems to be the play there. See how that works out. We got up to 11th, I think, right there. So, I mean,
Yeah.
sneak that into a top 10. I'd
Yeah,
say that's a
Hearn.
strategy well played. And down and away goes Climber and Mall.
Yeah, Hearn stays out, of course, because he was just in 7 laps ago, and he'll take that 11th spot now. The Climber gets out clean. Jagerliner not too far in the mirror, Brian. He's only about 3 seconds back after the stop.
Yeah, that could be something that could percolate over the next little while.
Mardi Gras Mole coming out. Man, he came out right as Otis was coming by, and they were wheel to wheel just before they started to make the turn up the hill.
Sure, Otis wasn't super pleased with that. Oh, Saunders kicking up some dirt there. See the lap comparison on the screen there, and you can kind of see how that gap has formed between Saunders and Otis. Very simple. If you run faster than the guy behind you, he cannot catch you. Very simple philosophy.
It's science. Science.
Pure science. Hashtag
Yes.
science. Just poking my nose around the track here, kind of seeing what's out there, what's happening for these
Brian,
drivers. Yeah.
Who is this Chris Reagan guy? Why aren't we talking about him more? I mean, he's still hanging on to 5th. Aaron Morgan's got a little bit of a run at him, but honestly, consistently over the last several laps, hasn't been near as fast.
No, but Reagan he's just a yeoman effort here, just making the work and putting it in.
I don't know. Sorry. Guys, I don't have any info on him. I'm going to make an attempt here real quick.
Good. I think I probably found what you were looking for. So this is the second time that we've seen him this year, with his debut coming at Road America just a couple weeks ago. Started 5th, finished 8th. Maybe he's a road course racer and doesn't like the ovals. Well, I'll tell you what, he's we're seeing a lot of them then, hopefully here, because over these final 4 races of the season, 3 of them are at a road course where you have to go left and right. So if we're counting this one, that would be, obviously we're here in Sonoma. That's race 1. The next race is at Laguna Seca. So the legendary corkscrew awaits these Lotus 79s. And then right off of that, they go to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Oh, riding the dirt. And maybe Adam just called it a park job right there. Just said, all right, that's enough. Out of the car. He did as well as he could right there. I applaud it. He knew he didn't have the speed. He knew he didn't have the pace. He was just going to try and ride it out. Fortunately, that meant a trip into the mounds. Looking up there, Sage Karam working his way through some slower traffic on the field. He's up behind Chad Dalton. Sage getting very aggressive. They're going into the carousel, making that maneuver work.
Oh, no. Who was that out there behind Sage?
Before, like at the top of the carousel?
Yeah, it was back there in the distance behind Sage, and yeah, I missed it. Sorry, guys.
All right. As Sage paces around here, Jagerliner getting way out of the way for him. Good battle right there on screen. Chad Dalton, Ryan Corns, these two just can't seem to shake off of each other.
Nope, Chad's still making it happen there with that damaged front wing.
carrying that car
Yeah.
through here to the up right-hander, getting a good exit. That's the thing that I've been noticing about Dalton. He can just get that power down. Working the way through the turns 3A, 3B, leading up to the carousel, literally leading up to, because you go uphill and then you go back downhill.
They've been just about as evenly matched in pace as anybody in this field.
Yeah, you really, when you look at the lap times between the two of them, you can't really put too much between the both of them. So you just kind of trading blows. It's like a heavyweight fight.
Exactly, yeah.
Tell you what, though, we are on pace to probably see some really fast laps towards the end of this race. Track temp has come down another couple degrees. We're at 110. So as the sun starts to move around in the California sky.
Chill in
it
there.
corns.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now he could have gotten out of the way because he saw Saunders coming. But unfortunately, that put a big gap up to Dalton. But now Dalton is going to have to get out of the way of Saunders. So it could very well bring that gap right back to him. He goes off in a wrong spot. He gets the spot that way.
We'll just see where Saunders catches him here.
Looks like he's going to catch him through the carousel.
Traffic in front of them in Travis Jägerliner up there. That's not really traffic. That's his position.
And yeah, right there into the carousel.
Oh, see, that's not where I want to get caught.
Not really.
He's going to get the advantage of a little bit of draft if he stayed in it, but he's not going to. Dalton had little interest or Saunders had little interest in giving any help to Dalton there.
Then just on the other side, now that battle picks itself back up. Oh, that was very aggressive under braking. But he made it stick, got on the binders hard, lost it all on exit. Lost it on exit for a reason, because here comes Ryan Otis working his way through the field as Sage Karam rips off another fastest lap of the race, a 1:20.18. Goodness gracious.
Jeez. My, oh my.
For point of reference, there are only 3 drivers that are lapping in the 120 bracket.
Right.
The other two, stop me if you've heard this before, Saunders and Otis, their lap times a 20:64 for Otis, and Saunders that last time with a 20:88. And we just saw Sage run a 18. So, driver of that number 3 machine is on the button tonight. Otis now having to deal with the other slower traffic of Clymer there. Clymer giving him plenty of room. Someone out there giving him plenty, giving everybody plenty of room. That was Jägerliner.
Yeah, that was actually Jägerliner.
That I don't want to be a part of nothing, guys.
Yeah, and Dalton that he just got around.
Yeah, he lost some spots there. David Clymer being the last car on the lead lap / the next car for Sage to devour. Who's that on pit road? Is that Sandman?
Sandman. Yep.
Sandman on pit road. Calling it out now, making his final stop.
Enter Sandman. Yeah, I did that. I'm sorry.
That's good. That's good. You're hardly the first to make that pun this year,
I know,
Sean.
it was terrible. I'm sorry.
All right.
Please,
It's all right.
everybody.
But,
I feel
sometimes
shame.
we got to get creative with this, though, because it is Sandman. So maybe we need to say next time, Mr. Sandman, tell me it's the line of that song. Tell me a
Jeez.
dream.
All right, all right. You're piling on now.
Yeah. Bum, bum, bum.
Well, George, he'll be good now, obviously. But the first of our drivers there, really in the top 10 to step out and decide to get in there.
Well, I mean, you're not gonna beat the guys you're racing with if you do the same damn things
Yeah.
that they do.
That's right.
So-
I mean, you're absolutely right.
Why not try something a little different?
Yeah, I mean, comes out in fourth.
I mean,
And
yeah.
everybody
So,
in front of him has to pit, and everybody behind him has to pit. And here comes Alex Saunders.
well, if you look at home there, or if you're at home and you're watching the race and you see that ticker on the left side, I mean, if you're fourth and you see the gap between third and fourth, that's the window that he had to play with.
Yeah. And
Otis
Ryan
responding
Otis
with the
just
fastest
throws
lap.
down the hammer. Yeah, how about that?
Saunders on pit road, getting his stop out of the way. I would have thought you wanted to probably try and run these things out and keep as little fuel in it as possible, but I'm wrong every once in a while. Frank Bieser getting onto pit road as well.
Saunders is going to come off, and he's going to come out in third. Sandman just getting across the start-finish line.
Plenty of advantage there to Saunders, and Saunders very good to probably maintain the second position after the cycle of things here. I think Otis is in clean air.
He is.
Very clean air.
He needs to make up some ground here if he's got a shot at staying ahead of Saunders.
Well, and this is really what it boils down to is this is where you try and make those laps, because we've talked about this before. The Lotus 79 gets faster the more the fuel burns off. So you have an opportunity right now to try to lap fast enough to make up that advantage over Saunders, because Saunders is going to have a heavier fuel load than yourself, as we're working our way down to 11 laps to go, or 12 laps to go. My apologies there. So Otis throwing it down again with a 20:53. That's on pace with where Saunders is, or Sage Karam is running, as you see on screen. And I believe Sage has pretty wide open spaces in front of him. Eventually, though, we are going to have a battle of the real world IndyCar drivers, as he's going to be catching up to our own Richie Hearn very shortly.
Got to work with Richie today. He helped us out and was calling the VTEC Series Audi TCR race today here on GSRC. And it was at Road America, and he was talking about some of his experiences there. Flying through the kink, no lift in IndyCar. Yeah.
The corner,
Yeah.
that corner there does really separate out the men from the boys.
He's like, you just sent it in there flat-footed and just kind of hoped for the best every time.
I mean, it's nice to know that professional race car drivers have the same approach to a corner that I have approached to life. Not 100% sure this is going to stick, but let's just send it.
Let's send it.
Might work.
And, I really can't believe Wardlow is still... Well, okay, I don't want to sell what Mark Cohn's doing short, but Wardlow still riding behind him. Pretty much for the whole race, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember a time when Wardlow was in front of him. They started in opposite spots. But what a battle these two are having. I wonder if Dustin's playing a little bit of poker here and just saving it for the last hand.
Might be, because he's not going to show him his poker face going up the straightaway. Can't read his poker face,
Oh,
He's got to love somebody. Okay. My wife, as a massive Lady Gaga fan, would have appreciated that pun right there. But we were talking about Clymer and Corns being evenly matched throughout the event, and I really feel like Wardlow and Mark Cohn, also very evenly matched. And I think that's what it boils down to: is they have the same setup, they have the same car. All that's separating out is the driver holding the wheel with that hunk of meat between their ears and connected to the feet on the floor. And for them to be this close, with coming to 10 to go here through this event, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I know this has not been a great season for Dustin. He's just not had any luck on the retro side or the IndyCar side. and the hits just continue to keep coming. So, boy, getting another spot in this race and finishing it with a checker might almost feel like a win to him here at this point. He's had a hell of a drive. This is a battle of a couple of Californians going at it toe to toe.
California knows how to party.
Yes,
California love and California driver. Props if anybody. There we go. That was a slow burner. I like that one. Working their way through the infield section. You see that lap comparison. I mean, just trading it back and forth. But, I mean, with the exception of lap 37 there on the screen, I mean, that's half a tenth, essentially, that's separating out two guys over the course of 2.3 miles, or 5.383 for our metric friends across the globe.
Look at that, Brian. I don't know if you saw that up top, but Otis just went 120 flat.
Woo!
Yeah.
Well, and Saunders was a 120.63 that last time. So I think when Otis makes his stop, he is going to be the one that ends up in front of Saunders. Now, Saunders might have a little bit lighter fuel at that point. So it's going to be interesting to see how that balances out. As you see Chris Reagan on pit road and Mark Cohn as well on pit road. So the final die is starting to be cast here at Sonoma with 9 laps to go.
I wonder if Wardlow is going to take a little bit of a book or a page out of Otis's book here and maybe try and go a couple of really, really hard, fast laps and get that advantage he needs on Mark Cohn.
Well, remember, Wardlow and Otis are teammates, so I'm sure that came up in the team chat there.
Well, they are currently on the exact same strategy, and Otis is in. Otis is in
this time. I'm watching Saunders as he's working his way through the S's. Let's keep the camera focused here on. We're going to keep it focused on Saunders. I am going to focus on Otis. There we go. We'll balance that out. See on screen working his way down through the hairpin. Very tight section. Otis is in his box. And Otis is rolling at the end of pit road. Very short stop. Where is he going to come out in comparison? It looks like Saunders gets the advantage. That gap must have been bigger than I had initially thought.
I'll tell you what, though,
closer.
I'm gonna give a hats off to Ryan Otis. That was a hell of a stop, a hell of an exit right there. He's on it, man. He's on the pins now. He can get this done, man. We're talking a little over 7 laps to go in this race.
Into the grenade in the teeth, and he is focused. All of this happening behind Sage Karam, still well out front. No threats for that driver as he is on pit road right now. Final stops happening here at the DMLC Grand Prix of Sonoma. A little bit of front wing damage, it looks like, on the front there of Sage.
Sage taking tires.
Oh, I mean,
that was just the rear went up on the car. Did I see that right?
Rear tires?
Yeah, only the rear went up on the car. He'll come out 8 seconds in front of Saunders now?
It's close enough that, if a mistake happens, he doesn't have time to recuperate.
No, very little, indeed.
See, I missed that. Yeah, just the rear tires went up into the air. That's kind of incredible.
I don't think I've ever seen a Lotus 79 do that before. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't look right.
Yeah, good eye, Sean, on that one. I totally missed it. Looking around here for battle to see on track, and stop me if you've heard this. Well, Mark Cohn. Nope.
No, Cohn.
Sorry, Cohn and... Oh, boy, this is really going to throw me for a loop.
Cohn and Clymer.
Corns. Yeah, we have Ryan Corns and David Clymer that had the battle. Well, Mark Cohn and unicorns also have very similarly painted cars from what I saw on my screen very briefly. So you see the Pink Panther special with, yep, that was, and Jägerliner making his final stop as well. Dustin Wardlow, I think Wardlow's probably going to get the jump over Mark Cohn. Just looking at the stopwatch, well, it might be
Dustin
real close.
coming in here. Dustin's coming in.
We're going to have to keep an eye on it.
Yeah. Because now that Cohn's got a battle with Clymer, and Clymer is on an alternate strategy where he's going to be pushing that car, literally maybe getting out of it to push it across the start-finish line at the end.
Well, and you know, with that earlier stop, Clymer is going to have lighter fuel. You see Aaron Morgan on pit road as well, down and away.
Wardlow's in. And Reagan gets by Morgan.
Leapfrog there. Dustin Wardlow has leapfrogged
away.
Mark Cohn.
Oh, here we go. This is going to be a battle with all three of them. Here they come up the hill. Wardlow just getting going.
Well, Wardlow got a pretty bad exit off of that corner, which is just going to stall that momentum, which is probably going to bring Mark Cohn and David Clymer right back up to that rear wing. Of course, all the drivers with similar names have to run next to each other.
Right.
Just to confuse a poor broadcaster. You know, it's a name I don't feel that we have mentioned since the start of the race. Little Train. Right now riding in the 6th spot. Hasn't made his final pit stop yet.
Yeah.
But let's go on screen. Clymer
go,
taking the spot.
Woo! I thought they made contact. Maybe not.
Close.
Yeah, very close.
Probably couldn't have put a piece of bologna between the two of those cars.
On board with Mark Cohn here on the replay on that DMLC Racing Channel camera.
There's the turn in, and you see.
Well, it wasn't contact, and thankfully it wasn't any net code involved, because that is certainly one of those situations where you fear that something like that may happen.
Binion on pit road, down and away for the driver of that number 94 machine. We also have 5 laps to go, coming to 4 laps to go this time as Sage crosses the line right now.
Man, Wardlow picked up 2 spots on that pit stop, staying out that 1 extra lap. Again, Clymer's on an alt strategy, but he still picked up the spot to get out in front of Clymer and drops Mark Cohn now. Cohn's a full 2.5 seconds behind.
Mark Cohn now riding in the 10th spot. I'll be curious to see, because we still have, as I was talking before, that battle on screen, Little Train. He still has to make his final stop. But as we're noticing, you know, these guys are taking less and less fuel to get to the end. So I think Little Train, who is in now, he's probably going to just top that thing off with fuel and go. I think he will probably merge out back here with this battle between Wardlow, Clymer, and Cohn.
Man, we are going to see a battle for P2 before this is over. I don't know if we'll see a battle for the top spot, but Otis is catching Saunders. 0.3 of a second last lap.
Absolutely right, Sean. I mean, that gap is closing up there. Oh, and Little Train's going to come out right in the hornet's nest here. He's going to come out right in front of Wardlow. Wardlow's carrying the momentum up front, up the uphill. But it looks like Little Train's going to just sneak away just far enough. Keep an eye on that race.
A 1/10 of a second that last time. Otis quicker than Saunders.
I'm looking back up front now. Saunders versus Otis. I feel like I've been saying that at every road course. For the most part of this year.
And there are several battles that, like Road America, where it can come down to last lap heroics or tragedy that can decide this race.
Absolutely right. And you can just see, depending on how this all shakes down, we still have 3 laps to go. And Sage Karam, he's in a bit of a hornet's nest himself up there. Caught behind a couple slower cars.
Yeah, he is.
Here probably shouldn't have any issue navigating
Paulson
these
and
rough
Ducana
seas.
right in front of him.
Sage going to send it down to the inside there. Looks like Paulson's going to give him a little bit of room, take some cones with him. And it looks like remember the cones. It looks like Finian's going to stay out of the way too. But did Finian just cast the die? No, he and Paulson aren't racing for position. Now 2 laps to go.
And 2 laps to go for Saunders and Otis as they just got across the line. Otis got it under a second. Wardlow's still back there with a chance, but man, he's got some hot company right behind him, and Clymer and Mark Cohn.
There's a lot going on back there, and we're probably going to have plenty of time to jump back and figure it out. Here you see, who's that in front of Wardlow? It's a riding shot. Oh, it's Kalisto. I mean, that's that's a battle.
Yeah, this is legit. Yeah, Wardlow just continues to drive the wheels off it right now. He renewed life after that pit stop.
Seeing the way, working their way down here through the hairpin. Wardlow not getting a great roll through there. Got in real aggressive. Couldn't tie it together on the exit, which is going to let him slide back into the clutches of David Clymer.
Well, Clymer even spun the tires a little bit coming off the hairpin. Nobody's got him now. Right up under the gearbox.
They're right there working their way through the uphill section. White flag in the air, though, for Sage Karam. 2.3 miles separate him from yet another victory on the road. And look at that lap time in 1996, just for good measure.
Wow, wow, wow.
Showing everybody, no. I've had this all along. As Sage rolls around the speedway, you can see that was that Alex Saunders that we were looking at right there.
Yeah,
now we're back to Sage.
Notice it opened up just a little bit, and
Might
I
be
don't
just enough. But all eyes on Sage Karam as he works his way through the S's for the final time today on lap 50. Left, right. Not the march of the battalion of soldiers, but best way to get through that set of corners. Through turn 11. Down. Oh, and Kalisto, is there a problem out behind him? We'll take a look at that in a minute. But Sage Karam, mark him down as the winner in wine country. Sage wins the DMLC Racing Channel Grand Prix of Sonoma. Back to the second spot. Looks like Saunders is going to hold that out over Otis. Solid points day for Otis. Probably going to extend that out. Sandman going to finish 4th. I'll tell you what, though, the battle I want to go back and look at.
Yeah, I know where you're going to want to go with that. I actually got it all teed up and ready to go.
Yeah,
but let's finish this here. Reagan right now holding off Morgan.
A good battle here for the 5th spot. Morgan going to try driving it in just deep enough, but not close enough to get anywhere close up to the rear wing of Chris Reagan. Another top 10, 2 back-to-back top 10s for his road efforts here. Good job. Now,
you know, we shouldn't have talked about we got everybody else coming in here, finishing their final laps. There's Mark Cohn coming across in 7th.
Yeah, remember that because Mark Cohn was not in 7th that lap prior.
No, but good on him to get through the trouble and get there to do it.
So let's show everybody at home what happened. Sean, I'll let you talk about this one.
Well, I mean, Wardlow's going to go diving down in there, and Lionel Kalisto right in front of him. He just gets into the back of Lionel, and the bad luck for the Candyman continues. And you see Mark Cohn get by in the Pink Panther, And Climber was the one who got stuck up under him, on board with Wardlow here, and I just
That was a
I
very opportunistic move.
And you're going to watch Climber here.
On board here.
He's going to wind up obviously where he doesn't want to be. He would have preferred to get past this.
I would prefer to probably do what Mark did and just slide out there to the left. Whoop!
Yeah.
Trying to turn it away to get underneath there. Still worked out all right. So, ladies and gentlemen at home, it's been a fun-filled race. We're gonna take a quick break here. Come back on the other side, do a full field rundown, talk to our podium, and close the show out here at the DMLC Racing Channel Grand Prix of Sonoma. We'll be right back.
The Sim Pit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The Sim Pit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for The Sim Pit.
Welcome back to the Grand Prix of Sonoma here for the Lionheart Retro Series. This was a very interesting race as it worked its way down to the end of it here. But let's go over our final post-race show presented by Plasma Tracks. Now, if you haven't heard of Plasma Tracks, this is the website for you. If you're struggling to find someone for the person who has everything, plasma-tracks.com. They produce original racetrack wall art, motorsports trophies, home decor, motorsports fabrication. It's all sorts of things that they can do on their website. And I promise you, boys and girls, words do not do justice to the uniqueness of their wares. The only way to fully appreciate the artwork is to see it for yourself. But I promise you, you're going to go to that website and you're going to find at least 3 things that you want to buy, which is a great thing because if you do go to plasma-tracks.com, and we sure would like you if you did, you use the promo code LRS2019, 25% off of your order. So let's go through the full final results presented by SimPit here. Sage Karam winning it very handsomely on pole, fastest lap, fastest in practice, I think. And fastest lap of the race and all those fun things. So clean sweep for Sage there. It's Alex Saunders, Ryan Otis rounding out the steps of the podium. We'll talk to those gentlemen as well. George Sandman bringing it home fourth. Chris Reagan in a distant fifth with Aaron Morgan sixth. We saw the second to final corner, or second to final lap battle there between the 7th through the 10th place drivers. Mark Cohn getting out on the best side of that with Lionel Kalisto 8th, David Clymer 9th, and Dustin Wardlow in 10th.
You got this, Brian. Finian Tucana in 11th tonight. Mardi Gras Mall going to finish 12th. Richie Hearn, a 13th place run from him after starting at the back of this field. Great night for Richie. Ryan Corns, 14th for him. Chad Dalton, 15th place run. 16th, got to go to Travis Jaegerliner. Chris Lanini with a 17th place, finishing at number 92. James Paulson, 2 laps down. The first car at 2 laps down. 18th, Frank Beezer right behind him in 19th. And Paul Jenkins rounds out your top 20.
Rounding out the field there, Adam Young, JP Winchell, and Mike Belair all having problems earlier on in the event. So with that being said, we've got all those things going on. Let's talk to our winner, Sage Karam, with pretty much a clean sweep of the weekend. Sage, talk us through the race. I mean, again, outstanding pace on the road, but what made this one such a dominating effort for you?
Yeah, no, it was just a good race. I knew qualifying was going to be pretty important, and it was pretty tough to pass, especially in when you got close to cars and those faster S's on the back. It just you would lose the front end. So I knew I had to qualify up front, at least on the front row, and was able to put in a pretty good lap. And it wasn't a perfect lap, but it was close to it. So I was happy with that. And knew I just had to get a good jump and then just kind of try and break the draft and go. I was trying to do it in one stop, and I saved fuel basically the whole first stint and halfway through the second. And then once I realized that I make it on fuel, and Saunders was reeling me in pretty quickly while I was trying to save more fuel than I needed. I decided, let's just come in and top it off and just go for fast laps, and that's what we did at the end. And it's a fun track. It's a lot of elevation. It's a very, very tricky track. It can catch you out real quickly. So I always like racing around here.
Well, I mean, it shows as any driver is happy with the track they're at. They usually tend to do a lot better, and you definitely led the way down that way. The rest of the schedule, we're looking at the final 4 races of the event of the year, basically including this event. 3 out of the last 4 on road courses. That's got to get you a little bit excited, or are you going to stay around the rest of the year? Do you have other commitments? WRC racing? You racing all over the place, man.
Yeah, I mean, my real life racing schedule is done now, so I'm in off season. So I'd like to come to the ones that I can, and I think I'll try and make them. I got to actually get surgery on my elbow on the 22nd. So but I'll still come and try and race. I did it when I had shoulder surgery too. I just put my upshift and downshift as buttons on the right side of my steering wheel. I couldn't use my left hand. I just drove around and upshift, downshift with the 2 buttons at the top of the wheel. So it's doable, but it'll be tough. But I'm gonna try.
If you do that, make sure you get a video and post it in the Discord, because I would love to see just how in the hell you drive around a place one-handed shifting. A pretty impressive effort there, Sage. So I mean, you got all the your real world commitments out of the way. You got all those different things going on. I mean, it just from the road side, I mean, this just has to fall right into your strong suit. I mean, what do you feel as the driver makes you so just dominating at some of these events?
I mean, we were, me, Otis, and Wardlow, we were talking about it earlier in the room, and we're just, the road racing is just fun just because, a lot of the issues that you might have in a race, if you do have an issue, is mostly because you screwed up. And then on the ovals, you could be running up front all day long, and you could get, run into, or somebody spin in front of you, and you just have nowhere to go. So, the errors that happen on the road courses are mostly in your hands, and that's why I enjoy racing on the road courses so much. And the ovals are more of a lottery, but it's all good. Especially in this car, it's mostly pack races everywhere you go in this thing. So I don't know. I just enjoy the road courses. I come from a go-karting background, so just grew up on them. And not to take anything away from the ovals. Usually, actually, in real life, I've had most of my success on the ovals. But I do enjoy racing on the road courses a bit better.
Sounds good. Any final shout outs before we depart ways here tonight?
Just everybody at Kawanda, VRS, GSRC, Lionheart, everybody that's a part of the league. It's a great group of guys that, people are out there looking for a league they want to try and get into. Really cool group of people that, are never going to lead you wrong and are going to race you hard and clean. So love being in the league and looking forward to the next one.
All right, sounds good, Sage. Have yourself a good night. We've got a big month off, so that should work out perfect for your surgery, and hope everything goes well there as well.
Yep, thanks.
All right, so that was Sage Karam. From the top step of the podium to the second step of the podium, Sean, you caught up with Alex Saunders.
Yes, I certainly have. Alex, a great race tonight on a tough course. How tough was it for you?
Man, I'm dying. My hand is killing me. This was a real workout, man.
It is. Yeah, especially in the Lotus 79. Talk about that workout. What are some of the biggest challenges out on this circuit?
Well, I insist on using an H pattern because it's just so much more fun.
Yes.
Which means
Yeah,
I know, right?
real men.
I'm driving one-handed most of the lap, and you got all these bumps and long corners, and I probably have the force feedback set too high. So yeah, my entire left side feels like I got a good workout.
Well, you got a good workout, and you got another good finish after taking the big victory there at Road America. P2's got to feel pretty good. I would say you're pretty hot right now.
Man, I don't think I've ever been quite so happy to finish second before. I didn't have a great qual. My first lap ended up being my best lap because I botched the next three, and real hard to pass here, obviously. And then I had the little issue into turn one that cost me the spot, and then I was just kind of stuck. Couldn't do anything, so I figured I'd roll the dice with the pit strategy, and I was able to get some clean air and just go for it. So that was fun.
Well, it was sure fun watching you. The season winding down, but I know you haven't been able to run the full season. Your performance, the competition here, does that lead you to think that maybe you'll try and make the whole season next year?
Yeah, that's definitely the plan right now. I wanted to do the full season this year, but real life got in the way. So next year, hopefully all that's cleared up and I can do it because, it's a blast driving this car, period. And you get a pretty good group of guys to run with here. You get the road oval thing. And I mean, the competition keeps getting stronger too. Cause we had, we had a couple road courses last year that weren't the most competitive. And now we've got, you got big clumps of guys racing for positions all through the field. We got Sage out there giving us somebody to chase. It's really, the series is on the up.
On the up indeed, and so are you. Congratulations. Anybody you'd like to shout out to, sponsors you'd like to thank this evening?
I'm not fancy enough to have sponsors, but I will thank my teammate Greg, who hasn't been racing, but he was helping me spot and putting fuel numbers in, so I didn't have to think about it too much and let me know what was going on with traffic. So that was neat. And my dad's probably watching at home, so hi, Dad. Hope you enjoyed the show.
All right, Mr. Saunders. I'm glad you're watching this evening. Alex, congratulations, and we'll see you in about a month.
Thanks, guys.
That is Alex Saunders. Brian Yazik, you have caught up with one Ryan Otis, who squeaks out a third place finish here this evening.
We had all sorts of fun there, Ryan, trying to pin what the strategy was to try to leapfrog Saunders over that last stint. Was that kind of the plan, was to try to run it real light on fuel and see if you could get the advantage that way?
Oh yeah, that was the plan. It didn't quite work. He jumped in front of me after the first stop because I had a super bad in lap and just kind of made a mess of it. And so I knew I was going to lose the position. And coming through to the end of the second stint, I was putting in these flying laps and really happy. I was pretty sure I was pulling on him with what he would have been running on heavier fuel, and everything was going great. And then I caught a gaggle of traffic and was trying to think, well, I knew it was going to be close, and I didn't think I'd be able to get by the group of guys quickly enough. And so I just came in a couple laps early and ended up just barely missing it. I had about 4 more laps of fuel, but there were 3 guys in front of me, and I didn't think I'd be able to get by them quickly enough to be able to stretch anything out. So I kind of rolled the dice there and came up short.
Solid plan. And don't feel bad, Ryan. Mike Tyson was quoted once as saying, "Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face." So, I mean, the plans always have a way of working or not working. As it rolls on, I mean, you Sage and Saunders are just kind of in a class of your own on these roads, the twisty bits. I mean, and so you got to be really excited here for the next couple races, the next 2 being the left and right handers.
Oh yeah. I love racing these guys. They're so fast, so clean. They always race you clean. You don't really have to worry about them taking any super low percentage moves or anything. So it's going to be a good race. This one was a little tough just because it's so difficult to pass here. You get within about 8/10 of the car in front of you, and the car just washes out everywhere, and it's just impossible to go anywhere. So, Alex definitely beat me there on pit strategy, and Sage was flying up front, so he did a great job.
I mean, don't sell yourself short. You did a pretty good job hanging out there. Some great battles between everybody. You and Sage were trading fastest laps of the race. It was kind of a slugfest out there. I mean, as the track was kind of cooling off, they had to have helped that out from the lap time side for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Down near the end of that second stint, the track had cooled off and the car was light on fuel and it was feeling super good. And I was out there just, driving all the way to the edge. So that was great fun. Those were the funnest laps all night for.
Sounds good, Ryan. I mean, we'll get you out on this one. Any special shout outs here as you're kind of winding down your season? I know it's probably a little bit bittersweet because you probably want to keep going, but at the same time, you're looking pretty good for the overall crown. So you probably want to get that locked away here pretty quick too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm feeling pretty good about the points right now. So that's good. No, I just got to give a shout out to George and the whole admin crew. This is such a great league. I've done pretty much nothing but league racing and iRacing for, I don't know, the last 8 years or so. And to me, this is far and away the best league I've run. They have live race control. And so, they can make some decisions and, adjudicate some issues, real time. And so it's so great just to have that there and to have the volunteers and all the support and the admins and everybody who make this whole thing run. So definitely got to thank all those guys. It's a lot of work.
It is. I've kind of got little bits and pieces on my end, and that's enough for me from that side. So take care, Ryan. We will see you next month at Laguna Seca.
Oh yeah. Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
All right. So that was the voice of the third step on the podium, Ryan Otis, getting closer to clinching his first championship here in the Retro Series. Sean, let's shut it down, bud. What'd you think?
I've had fun. It's a blast. I love coming over here and doing these Lionheart races. And again, I am a fan of Sonoma. I'm a fan of wine country. And honestly, I can't wait to get up to Sonoma. I may honestly try and catch a race up there next year. It's on my list of we're going to try to get to Long Beach and we're going to try to get to Sonoma next year. So, honestly, Long Beach is an hour and a half away from me. If I don't get to Long Beach next year, I probably should be fined. Sonoma, a little bit, about 6 hours. So a little bit more effort to get there. But the Lionheart IndyCar series, the Retro series, they need to be here once a season, every season. So it definitely gets my vote. This configuration is fine too. I'm totally okay with this one. I know there's 4 different ones to choose from, but I think this one puts on an entertaining race. I certainly love the trip down off the carousel, down the old drag strip down to that double apexer or triple apexer, even if you want to consider it that, depending how you drive it. Yeah, I love this this configuration and these cars. I mean, please, George, don't ever get rid of the Lotus 79. In fact, if you want to consider replacing the IR18 with the Lotus 79, I might even be a fan of that. So this is a wicked fun car and great to watch here on the iRacing Esports Network.
All righty. So with that being said, we're going to shut the broadcast down for the night. Give a shout out to our series sponsor, Butt Kicker. I just lost my whole train of thought in the script. Sim Experience for the overall series, but Butt Kicker also for spending their dollars here in the Lionheart IndyCar series. And Mark Cohn, also from the DMLC Racing Channel, for sponsoring our event. Series organizer, George Anzaldo. You heard some of the guys mention him as well. The hardworking leader, fearless leader from that side. Also, we have, you see all the other sponsors on the screen as well. And then that screen's going to flip over, and that's going to show you all the software and the hardware that we use for our broadcasts. See, look at that. See, I know how this step goes. I don't even have to look. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who also provides our fantastic music. See the screen on how to get a hold of them. June Lalonde having the Bandcamp website. A shout out to Sean for coming out and hanging out with us over here in the retro side. I'm Jed and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can do it at www.globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook, facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel. Next race, we kind of mentioned it a little bit. We got a nice little fall break, November 20th, in the Retro Series. Coming up to do the legendary Laguna Seca Raceway. You see other events on the screen as well. So mark them down on your calendar and come out, check them out when those come live. So until next time, kids, remember, keep your right foot planted and keep the connection stable, and we'll catch you on down the road. Have a great night.